As this water cools down, what's a little change we need to make in most of the spinnerbaits we're throwing? We're looking at 1 John 1:9. 1 John 1:9. Reading out of a Catch a Better Life book. This is a daily devotional book. Took me over 2 years to write this book. 365 daily devotions, 365 scriptures, and 365 fishing tips. This absolutely will change your life for the better. Change your life for the better. If you want your own copy of the book, you can get it at Bass Pro Shops. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles, Hobby Lobby, Books A Million, JimmyHouston.com, Amazon. If you want it personalized autographs, just send us a book that you have, or if you want to get one from us, tell us who you want it personalized to, and I'll be happy to personalize that and autograph it. Make sure you are subscribed to the Catch a Better Life channel on YouTube. If you're not, hit that subscribe button right now. If you are, share with your friends. Tell as many friends as you can, because it will make them better friends once they've been on this channel for a while. By the way, our new fishing channel, Jimmy Houston Outdoors Fishing, is all fishing. There's no ranch stuff, no deer, no devotionals on there, just fishing. Jimmy Houston Outdoors Fishing. If you're interested in fishing at all, it will become the best fishing channel on television. On YouTube, I really believe. We think we already got the best fishing show on television, but we're a little prejudiced. We're a little prejudiced in that. By the way, we will be back on ESPN beginning the first Saturday in January. I think at 7:30 in the morning Eastern Time. We'll be on the Discovery Channel as well, and Pursuit, AT&T Sports Southwest, Heartland Network, Family Channel, Action Channel, quite a few. World Fishing Network, WFN, will be on about a dozen networks. Okay, we're looking at 1 John 1:9. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. He is God. He is God. If we confess our sin, God is faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. When we commit sins, we become unrighteous. God cannot look upon unrighteous people with any kind of favor at all. So we want to become righteous. We want to become righteous in front of a holy God. Here's what I wrote about that. Stick-ups are single pieces of wood structure that stick up above the water's surface. It's got nothing to do with the wild, wild west. Stick them up. Give me all your money. Stick them up. That's not it. That's a different deal. These stick-ups hold fish, particularly on flats and near points. Now, I'm thinking about bass here mostly, but these individual stick-ups will also many times hold a single large crappie. This could be a brush pile under a single tiny small stick-up. Could be a big brush pile down there. When you find stick-ups, fish them all. Don't just fish one or two of them. Fish them all. Fish every single stick-up. Spinnerbaits and square bill crankbaits usually work best on these kind of stick-ups. Another thing to remember if you're going to fish these stick-ups, particularly in the fall, is a lot of times it takes multiple casts to get a fish to bite in the fall. So if you've got a real good place you're throwing your bait into, like a stick-up or a log or a stump, make you 3 or 4 casts into that, particularly if you're fishing a fast-moving bait, like a spinnerbait or a square bill crankbait. Just make you 3 or 4 casts in there, and pretty soon you will pattern whether those fish are hitting it on the first cast. If you start fishing those stick-ups and logs and whatever you're fishing with a spinnerbait or a small square bill crankbait, and you're catching all the fish you're catching on the first cast, don't make multiple casts. But if you're making multiple casts, 3, 4, 5 casts at each individual stick-up or piece of structure, and you're catching your fish on the third cast every time, that's when you want to make sure you make multiple casts. A small sin that we create is like a stick-up. That's right. It's like a stick-up. It might have a much larger sin lurking just under the surface. Might have a bigger sin lurking just under the surface. Little sins. We don't think too much about little sins. White lies, little white lies, gossip, pride. All these can lead to bigger sins and also huge problems. A careless or discouraging word, that's a sin. A careless or discouraging word can do more damage than you and I could ever imagine. And it certainly does more damage than what we intended it to. Maybe it was just popping off. Maybe we just said something we didn't really mean. It just sounded kind of cool at the time. Maybe it was just something to make people laugh. But sometimes it does a lot of damage. I've said things in jest to some of my really good friends and hurt their feelings big time. I had one time a buddy of mine get mad at me for about a year. I finally said, "Why are you mad at me anyway?" And he finally told me. And once he told me, I apologized. And he's still a great, great friend. He got over it pretty quick once I apologized. I could have apologized to him a year sooner if I'd known that I'd hurt his feelings. But I did, and I was just being funny. The good thing is God can forgive and does and cleanse us of all of those little sins and erase them, completely erase them, to keep them from doing damage in our lives or someone else's and growing into larger problems. God can cleanse us of those little white lies, that gossip, that pride, that's saying something nasty about somebody, even if it's just in fun. He can cleanse us of those sins and stop them from being larger problems. Here's our tip for today. It's a pretty good one too. Tip for today is move to larger blades as the water cools. Larger blades, that's right. Take your spinner baits and move to bigger and bigger blades. In fact, I a lot of times in the fall will move to a number 7 blade, and especially slow rolling that thing. And I might fish that thing all winter, all the way up through February, that great big blade. At least move up to a 1 or 2 sizes larger than what you're normally using, and you'll find that you'll catch more fish. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I sure love you.